Laura's asking a question here in regards to seminary. Is there a difference between Baptist, Pentecostal, Charismatic, etc., with seminary in the title? How would I discern the best fit? Okay, yeah, Laura, every denomination, every stripe of Christianity is going to have their own training center for people who want to go deeper or want to lead in that particular stripe of Christianity. So every stripe of Christianity, if they're organized enough and there's enough of them, they're going to have a training center, and the training center is going to be called a seminary. So the seminary doesn't define what they're studying. The seminary just defines what they're doing. And what they're doing is, if they're charismatics, they're training charismatics to be charismatic leaders, or they're training Pentecostals to be Pentecostal leaders, or they're training Baptists to be Baptist leaders. So the training center, wherever they're drawing their professors, their teachers, their instructors from, that's what they're going to be teaching. So I think the confusion there, Laura, if I'm understanding the question right, is that you think seminary means a particular course of study. It just means what they're attempting to do. And so you got to look at, if you're a Pentecostal, you're going to go to a Pentecostal seminary. If you're charismatic, go to a charismatic seminary. If you're Baptist, probably go to a Baptist seminary. So how would you discern the best fit? I would say, okay, you may have some convictions about, Lord's Supper, about baptism, about, miraculous gifts. And then I'd say, well, you need to go to a training center that's going to fit in line with that. And some have a broad enough scope of instructors where some instructors may be a little more charismatic and maybe less charismatic. So sometimes you can get a wider spectrum of denominational beliefs. So I know Catholics in particular are going to look at that and go, that's the problem with Protestants. They have all these different stripes of their Christian beliefs. But remember, these are really second, third tier issues. The closest we get to big issues that split people, if you think about how a church does what it does, things like baptism. You're going to baptize babies. You're going to baptize believers. Believers' baptism or paedo-baptism, child baptism, infant baptism. Well, you can't do both. You could, but that would be a pretty chaotic church ordinance. So you got to make a decision, and that's going to divide where you're going to worship. And that, all I'm saying is, you're going to have to go to a training center that believes what your church believes or what you believe. So, the Calvary Chapel, a lot of people in Calvary Chapel churches, well, there's Calvary Chapel University, there are Calvary Chapel training centers. We're part of an independent Bible teaching, Bible church kind of movement for us. We're fully Protestant, Bible alone, high view of God. We've got a training center here, Compass Bible Institute, which is going to teach you in that tradition of the biblical Bible teaching kind of Bible church genre, right? So it's going to depend, Laura, on what you believe. And don't think the word seminary is talking about content. Seminary is just talking about what they're trying to accomplish. And that is, they're trying to accomplish leaders for their movement. You got liberal seminaries, right? You got all kinds of liberal seminaries. They don't even believe that Jesus is the Son of God. They don't believe that Jesus ever walked on water or rose from the dead. They don't believe he was virgin born. Well, they have their own seminaries too, right? Even cult groups have their own seminaries. So find one that is going to align with your beliefs, which I trust are conservative, evangelical, Bible-believing beliefs, and you're going to find a place like it. You want to start? Go to compassbibleinstitute.com. That's a good place to start.